Today I will be sharing all of our favorite kind of like warm and cozy fall/winter dinners with you. These dinners are absolutely delicious, perfect for this time of year. Also, they're made on a budget. So all of these dinners today are made within $10 or less. Plus, I'm at Walmart right now. It's just the cheapest grocery store in my area and I'm bringing you along with me. Let's go pick up our groceries. And for all of these dinners this week, they will feed multiple people. You might even get multiple nights of dinner out of all of these dinners. Let's get into the store now. Come along. While I'm at the store, I'm showing you all of the items I'm picking up to stay in budget for this week. Meat prices have been outrageous, so I'm starting in the meat department. I'm kind of on the lookout for discounted meat. Discounted meat is a budget-friendly way to buy high-quality meat for an extremely good price, like this chicken, for example. Oftentimes, it just needs frozen or used within a day or two. I've also learned that discounted meat at my stores is put out early in the mornings or often on Mondays. Next, I'll pick up a couple pounds of ground turkey and then 16 ounces of sour cream. I'm sure I'll find some use for that sour cream. And heavy cream, I wouldn't say it's like very affordable at all, but it is really going to make a recipe absolutely amazing that I have in mind. Now for my cheeses, I'll pick up a bag of mozzarella cheese and then a pound of Colby Jack cheese. The Colby Jack cheese is 44 cents off, so it's pretty good money savings right there. I'll pick up Parmesan cheese along with 2 bags of egg noodles and penne pasta. The main difference between store brands like Great Value or Kroger and like the big name brand products is the price and the recognition. Name brands are well known across the country, cost a lot more money, mainly because of marketing and advertising costs, but store brands, on the other hand, they're sold at like specific retailers, usually a lot cheaper and can be just as good in quality. In fact, sometimes they're made at the same exact facilities that those like name brand products are made in. So that is very interesting. Choosing those like store name brand can save you lots of money without sacrificing quality or taste. So just keep that in mind. As far as pasta sauce, I'm grabbing a can of pasta sauce as well as a jar of Alfredo sauce. I was so happy to see like the roasted garlic Alfredo sauce. It just sounds so good. Now for a can of mixed vegetables, as you see, like the Great Value mixed vegetables are just significantly cheaper than the big name brand. Of course, big name brands, nothing wrong with them at all. It's just a lot of the time you'll save lots of money buying, store name brand products without sacrificing much at all. Next, I'm going to be picking up a can of black beans as well as brown rice. I am buying like the instant brown rice. Normally, I would buy like the regular brown rice, but I do have a yummy recipe in mind for this. It's just a quick and easy recipe. Now for salsa. Salsa can be pretty pricey at the store, but they often sell like cans of salsa, and canned salsa is really delicious, very affordable, and it works super well in a lot of recipes. I'll make my way back over to the bean area. I'm picking up 3 cans of cannellini beans. You could really use any type of beans for this specific recipe I'm thinking of. Cannellini beans just work super well, but like I said, any beans will do. Next, a mini can of corn. They sell these little cans of corn. Now that corn has like gone up in price at stores, I do often buy those littler cans because, recipes don't call for a ton of corn. Next, I'm going to be picking up a can of green chili. Diced green chilies just have a lot of flavor. They're pretty mild. They just have kind of like a smoky flavor, and they're super delicious in different Mexican dishes like enchiladas and like chili. So I'll pick that up. You could also use diced jalapenos if you don't care for green chilies. Next, I'm picking up these bouillon cubes. I think I'll use those in multiple recipes for this week. And then a can of cream of mushroom and a can of cream of chicken soup. If you have my cookbook, I have like homemade versions of cream of soups in the back if you'd prefer to use, homemade versions of cream of soups. And then I'm going to head over to the frozen veggie area and I'm picking up a bag of peas. We love frozen peas in my family. And then I'm also going to be picking up an onion. I just can't believe how large these onions are. These are like some of the biggest onions I have ever seen. This one's a massive onion. I wish you could see it in person, but just believe me, it's pretty big. And then I found these salad mixes. I just love these little salad mixes. There's not a ton in it, but for $1.97, it is a pretty good deal. Let's buy our groceries and let's get to cooking this week. To kick us off for this week, we are getting started on this chicken noodle casserole. This one's perfect for this time of year. We'll need some of our Colby Jack cheese, cream of chicken soup, mixed vegetables, some of our sour cream, cream of mushroom soup, egg noodles, and then half of our chicken. You'll also need a bouillon cube, so into your Instant Pot, or you could use a pot on the stove, or you could cook up your chicken just in a pan on the stove. But just add your chicken. I'm using a chicken breast and a half. I'll save the rest of the chicken for another recipe. I added it into my Instant Pot with 2 cups of water and a bouillon cube. Your chicken's going to come out very good and flavorful in the end. Just cook this on high pressure for 20 minutes. Cooking your chicken like that just makes it perfect to add into, different recipes. But now I'm cooking up my egg noodles just in a pot on the stove. I'll cook them according to the package instructions. I just love those extra large egg noodles. But now that my chicken's cooked through, I'm just shredding it up. I'm shredding it with an electric hand mixer, just to make it simple. But now into that chicken, I'm adding my drained can of mixed vegetables. You could also use frozen mixed vegetables if you have those on hand. I'm then adding in my can of cream of chicken soup, cream of mushroom soup. Next, I'm adding in about 3/4 cup of milk. I do want to let you know I am using a couple pantry staple ingredients just in these recipes like milk and seasonings, but nothing more than that. Everything else is coming from the store. Also add in a 1/2 cup of sour cream, a very small amount of our diced onion. Then for the seasonings, a 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. This recipe is on page 67 in my cookbook. I have a whole bunch of easy, affordable recipes in my cookbook, and I have a little secret for you guys. I haven't been able to say much yet, but I have a second cookbook coming out this fall. I have been working on it for well over a year. I just can't wait to share it with you. It is absolutely amazing. Be on the lookout. I'll share more info about it soon, but I just added in a 1/3 cup more cheese. Then add in your cooked egg noodles. Give this a super duper good stir. Then you're going to pull out a casserole dish. Spray your casserole dish with nonstick spray. Then add your casserole right in there. Sprinkle the top with about 3/4 cup more cheese. Bake this in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. This is one of our all-time favorite casseroles. My little ones absolutely love it. Here's what it looks like out of the oven. Think of chicken pot pie, but better in my opinion. I actually made this for a friend one time, and she's not a fan of chicken pot pie, but she absolutely loved this casserole. 10 out of 10, one of our all-time favorite, easy, affordable casseroles to make. Now we're getting started on this one pot creamy pasta. It is just absolutely delicious and so warm and cozy. I have my Parmesan cheese, my salad kit, my pasta sauce, along with my Alfredo, mozzarella cheese, penne, and then to get this recipe started, to a pot of boiling water, add in your penne pasta. Just cook it according to the package instructions. And then once you do have that pasta tender, just strain it and set it to the side. Of course, you could use any pasta that you have on hand or that you could find at the store. Penne is not necessary, but I do think it does work well for this recipe. Just into the same pot that the pasta was cooked in, add in your pasta sauce along with your Alfredo sauce, and then to get the remaining Alfredo sauce out of the jar, just add in a little bit of water. I added in about 1/3 cup of water, just gave it a little shake and then added that in. There's always so much Alfredo sauce left in the jar with these type of jars, so that's what I like to do. Just add in about 3/4 cup of mozzarella cheese, 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, and you are going to let this simmer and give it a stir until that cheese is melty. This is a meatless meal, so this is a meatless meal for all of my meatless meal friends. Once your cheese is melty, you could stir that cooked pasta back in. This is one of the easiest dinners you could make. This is perfect for a busy weeknight. It has a lot of pantry staple ingredients in it. It is bold and full of so much flavor. We absolutely love this one. I know a lot of people don't have hours and hours to make dinner at night, so another goal for all of these recipes this week is to make them very quick and easy. So that's why I'm not simmering, homemade pasta sauces and whatnot for this recipe. So keep in mind that these recipes are very quick and easy to throw together. I did serve this with a sweet kale salad kit. It is perfect for a side dish for a few people. Now we're making my sister-in-law's famous white chicken chili. So for this recipe, I'm going to use the other half of our chicken, 3 cans of cannellini beans, diced green chilies, heavy cream, and then some of the bouillon cubes. I'll probably just use one of those. And then a little bit of my cheese and some of the onion. To this pot on my stove, I'm adding in a tablespoon of olive oil, then some of the onion I just diced up. Then add in the remaining cubed chicken. Just give this a stir and cook that chicken. You could just cook your chicken from raw like this, or you could use pre-shredded chicken for this recipe. You just add it in a little bit later. So either way works well. Then you're going to add in your salt, pepper, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin, then a teaspoon of oregano. Give this a super duper good stir. You're going to smell this and it is just going to be smelling amazing at this point. Now add in 3 cans of drained and rinsed cannellini beans. And like I said before, at the grocery store, you could always use different beans if you'd like. Then add in our half a can of corn. I did drain that corn. I'll save the other half of the corn, for a different recipe. Then add in your diced green chilies along with 4 cups of water, or you could use broth. Since I didn't buy broth at the store, I just added that water in, and then I'll toss in a bouillon cube, just to make it easy. I'll give this a stir, and I'm going to let this simmer on my stove for about 10 minutes covered. While this is simmering away, making my house smell so warm and cozy, I'm getting started on the flour slurry. It's 2 tablespoons of melted or softened butter, 1.5 tablespoons of flour, and whisk this together until it's kind of combined like this. You want it to look like golden and beautiful. Now back over to the pot on the stove, just give it a stir, then you're going to add your flour slurry in. This recipe is also in my cookbook, and it is on page 136. If you haven't tried it yet, you absolutely need to. Give this a stir. Let it simmer in with the chili for about a minute or 2. Now you're going to add in your heavy cream. The heavy cream is just 1/4 cup of that. Give this a stir. Of course, the heavy cream is not necessary, and it is like more of an expensive grocery item. You could always make your own heavy cream, but it's just really good in this recipe like this. But you could always, skip the heavy cream. We topped ours with cheese, some tomatoes, and lime that I had on hand. This is such a good, perfect, warm and cozy chili. This is my busy night, 1 pot Mexican beans and rice. This is a total go-to dinner. So for the ingredients, I'm going to be using my instant brown rice, some of the onion, ground turkey corn. I thought I was going to be using diced green chilies, but I didn't end up buying those for this recipe. Black bean salsa and some of my cheese. To this pan on the stove, I added a small amount of my onion and ground turkey. Just break that ground turkey up and cook it through. And then once you do have your ground turkey cooked through, add in 1.5 cups of that instant brown rice. I normally buy like regular rice, but this instant rice is just perfect for this recipe. It's just a quick and easy recipe. Also add in your remaining can of corn along with a drained and rinsed can of black beans. I do want to let you know you could always use like ground beef in this recipe instead of ground turkey if you're more of like a ground beef fan. And then I added in my salsa along with the rest of my ingredients. So I added in my bouillon cube, 2 cups of water, and then for my seasoning, salt, pepper, a teaspoon of cumin, garlic powder, and some chili powder. Give this a stir, and you're going to let this simmer covered for about 15 minutes. You do want to stir it occasionally while it is simmering, just so it cooks evenly. Now that the cooking time is up, I'm adding in 1/2 cup of shredded Colby Jack cheese. Just stir that cheese in, then you could serve this up. Top yours really with anything that you have on hand. We did a little bit of our sour cream from the store, a little bit more cheese, and then I had that little lime that we used for this recipe too. Fresh lime juice is so good on top, but this is an easy, delicious, filling, high-protein dinner that is so affordable to make. We love it. Now we're making this stroganoff, and the ingredients that we're using to keep us in our budget: first we're using egg noodles, next we're using sour cream, a little bit of our onion, a bouillon cube, peas, ground turkey, and cheese. Over to this pot on my stove, I'm going to add in my egg noodles. Just cook those egg noodles according to the package instructions. Now over to this other pot on my stove, I'm going to add in 1 pound of ground turkey, or you could use ground beef or really any ground meat you like. Ground turkey is just just a really affordable option with high protein, and it is lower in fat. So it really is a great option if you are looking to stay on a budget. Just break that ground turkey up, and you're going to cook it for about 5 minutes, then add in a small amount of that onion. Just continue to cook the ground turkey until it is cooked through. But now that my egg noodles are cooked through, I'm just going to strain the egg noodles and set them to the side. Back over to my ground turkey. Now that it is cooked through, just add in 3 tablespoons of butter. You're going to let that butter melt down, and then once it is like melty, add in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Just stir that flour around until it kind of no longer looks like flour. This will help thicken up the stroganoff. Next, you're going to add in your water, or you could use broth. I'm using 2.5 cups of water, and then I am adding in a bouillon cube just for added flavor. You're going to let this simmer on your stove for a couple of minutes. Now go ahead and toss in about 3/4 cup of sour cream along with 1 cup of frozen peas and a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Give this a stir, and you're going to let it simmer for a couple of minutes. After it is finished simmering, add in 1 cup of shredded Colby Jack cheese. I'm just using Colby Jack cheese, that we got from the store. You could of course use other cheeses like cheddar cheese. Really any other cheese will work as well, but give this a stir, let the cheese melt down, and then once it is melty and combined with the rest of the ingredients, just stir in those egg noodles, and you're going to want to let those egg noodles get coated in the sauce, so stir them for a couple of minutes. I just love egg noodles at this time of year. Whenever I cook with egg noodles, it just makes me think of the fall and winter, so that's why I'm doing a couple recipes, with egg noodles this week, just because I think egg noodles are so perfect for this time of year. They're just like warm and cozy. Spray your casserole dish with nonstick spray, add your casserole in, spread it out, sprinkle the top with about a cup more cheese. I'm using the Colby Jack cheese from the store, but use any type of cheese you'd like to or have on hand. Just cover this with foil, bake it in a preheated oven to 375 degrees for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, remove the foil and bake it uncovered for an additional 8 minutes. This is just the yummiest casserole for this time of year. You could use other veggies for this if you'd like. You could add in mixed veggies, you could add in carrots, you don't have to add in the peas. This is so versatile. You could make it how you'd like it, and like I said before, you could make it with other meats. This one is a total winter dinner. I think you'd like it. I would love to have you here, so make sure you're subscribed down below the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.